Hey there, everybody. Welcome to a new NCIS Season 18 discussion. And, I know we are in the midst of an arc right now about Gibbs and Fernell, but we're going to take a little bit of a detour here, and we're going to talk about a subject that is very much popular for a lot of people out there, and that is, of course, Ziva. You guys love Ziva. We love Ziva.
Yeah, and we've gotten a lot of questions about whether or not Ziva's actually going to be back this season. We even got one last night on our Grey's Anatomy review, which is up here at the channel. Is Ziva coming back? We have an answer on that.
And we'll talk all about that and some of the ways that she could be included in the show moving forward, the logistical challenges of bringing Ziva back. There's a lot to get into here. But before we do, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this discussion. We have so much NCIS coverage coming. There will be a review for episode 3 after it airs on Tuesday night, so keep your eyes peeled for that, as well as other theory discussions and just so much more content related to the show.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into it. Here's the bad news, guys.
Yeah.
Is Ziva going to be back for season 18? No, she is not going to be back this season, and there's a lot of reasons why. But does this mean that she won't be back if the show is renewed, which we feel like it will be renewed? Yeah. No, that doesn't mean that. The door is open.
Yeah, and the reasoning why she's not back, I mean, creatively, it seems to be based on what Steve Binder and Frank Cardea, the executive producers, told us. It's just a function of they have so much other stuff going on. They have the Gibbs and Fernell story. They only have, presumably 16 episodes this season to work with.
Yeah, and Maria Bello's still leaving the show, so they're going to have to deal with that as well. There is a MCGEE arc coming up with him and Delilah. I mean, there is a lot that they have to pack into a much shorter season. So, I mean, unless they, really have something for Cote to come back for, I don't think anybody really wants to see her just jammed into an episode just because.
Yeah, and I think it would be frustrating for some viewers, and I'm sure it would be frustrating for the show itself. You got somebody who is talented in the way that Cote is talented, and you want to be able to give her like an arc. You want to be able to give her something exciting, and that was the driving force behind her return last season. Like, they had a very specific 4-episode arc that they were bringing her in to do. That arc concluded. She got kind of the answers that she wanted. She got to move forward and presumably reunite with Tony. Mm-hmm. So now it's sort of a question of, okay, well, then what's the next arc? It's not going to be her, like, walking into the office, grabbing a coffee, and saying hello.
Yeah, there needs to be something really specific for her. Otherwise, why bring her back? It does need to have a motivation behind it. And with this being a shorter season and so many stories that are being packed in here, there just isn't a reason to bring her back this season, so they're not going to.
The other just challenge with it right now is, I'm sure everyone unfortunately knows, we're in a pandemic. Travel is harder. Like, it's a situation where if you're going to bring Cote back, or you're going to bring Cote and Michael back, or whatever else, there's like so many more hurdles you need to jump through to make that happen. There's so many different regulations. And plus, if Ziva's back, don't you want Ziva kicking a little bit of butt? Like, she is like a great action hero on this show. And action sequences in a pandemic, they're harder. They're more challenging to do. You're seeing less of them, and that's for a very specific reason.
The other challenge that I see them facing here is, for me, this past arc with her where it was just really about her.
Yeah.
I was more than fine with. I know there was lots of us that wanted to see an actual reunion on screen with her and Tony and her daughter and all of that. I was one of those people as well. But it was really about her and things that she needed to do to be able to reunite with them. That is done now. Now she is able to reunite with them. So if she comes back without them, what is the story going to be? Why is Tony not with her? Why is her kid not with her? Why are we not getting that reunion? So I kind of think that if they are going to bring her back, we are now in a situation where that reunion, I feel, needs to happen. And needs to happen on screen.
I don't know how they can sort of justify not doing it other than just saying, oh, Tony's okay off somewhere else, and that's fine, I guess. But I don't think people are going to be, super thrilled with that. And Michael, unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess for him, like,
Yeah.
he's busy. He's on Bull. Bull is still going. Bull films in New York. And as we said, it's a pandemic. And traveling from New York, where he's working with one group of people, to coming and working with another group of people, plus the testing product, that is just, like, too much, I think, of a headache for every single person. It may even just be, like, schedule-wise sort of impossible right now.
Yeah, it films at the same time. They're in the same position that NCIS is in, where they're filming a little bit later. Schedules are a lot tighter right now. It just doesn't feel possible this season.
As for next season, however, I think there's a reason to have hope, and I think it's for a few different reasons sort of within that. Number one, fingers crossed, we're going to kind of hopefully be in a more normal situation at that point if the show is renewed, if, most people, the vaccines come in next year, filming starts on time, like we could be looking at more of a standard, 22 to 24 episode season again, starting filming in July as opposed to the fall.
Yeah.
That's obviously going to be a big benefit to the show, but then also that means more space to tell stories and also more ways to introduce people to bring in those stories, because let's not forget, Odette is still out there. Odette could be the perfect introduction that maybe she hears about something that Ziva is doing and the teams find a way to collaborate with them.
Yeah, and Odette is still working with Bishop. I know we haven't seen that in a while, but presumably that is still going on off screen, and Odette will still have some sort of connection with Ziva. I just think that they can write a story for her to come back. Not this season, but next season. Whether it is with Tony or not, I mean, that'll be another thing. I would like to see a reunion.
Yeah.
But these two are not joined at the hip. They are still their own people. Ziva can still go and do her own stuff without him. If he doesn't come back with her, yes, I will have the disappoint, but I'm not going to be like, oh, this is unbelievable. She can't do anything by herself. She can't come back by herself. No, she can. And there can be things that she can come back for on her own. I think it really is just going to be, what is the story that they're going to craft for her? And it doesn't have to necessarily be something that's as personal as this last arc was. It could be something like, we need something with her specific skill set, and we don't have this in the team because there is no one like Ziva, just like there is no one like Torres, there's no one like MCGEE. Like, each person brings their own skill set that maybe they're like, we need Ziva for this because of ABC.
And for the writers, they don't have the same challenge. Like, there's not going to be anything more challenging than how do we find a way to take this character who's presumed dead, pluck them out of that, and then find a way to reintroduce them to the team. Because now, presumably I would think that, McGee and Gibbs, like, that some of these people are talking to Ziva here or there, at least in the present timeline. I know NCIS is doing weird things with the timeline this season, but I think they're probably having conversations with her. I think there are sort of logistical reasons where if they need her skill set, it's not like they can have to go send like a team out into the wind to find her. I'm sure they can just give her a phone call.
Yeah, now things are different. She's no longer underground. She is available. She can come and do some stuff if they need her to.
Yeah, and I mean, it does also, of course, pose the question of, does Cody want to come back for more episodes of the show? And, she's notoriously pretty private. Like, she doesn't do a lot of social media, so it's hard to really get sort of a gauge on exactly what it is that she's interested in doing. But
she came back for this other arc, and it was a really good arc. And I feel like if the story is there, how can you say no, Cody?
I think she would, and I think she would probably want to come back and maybe do something that's a little bit more fun. And because this was a very heavy arc that she went through. And NCIS, this is a show where you have McGee being called the Elf Lord. Like, there's a lot of comedy that is here. We saw a little bit of that with Ziva and Torres. I think she would love to have an opportunity to come and maybe play just a little bit of that more.
Yeah, I agree.
So hopefully we'll get more news potentially on Cody in the future, but let's just set the table as realistically as possible here for it.
For right now, this season, if you're looking forward to Ziva coming back, you really need to just put the brakes on it. We'll put on our hard hats. No Ziva this season. but hopefully in the future.
Yeah, maybe next summer we'll start to hear something a little bit more along those lines if we're really, really lucky.
We will keep asking those questions over and over again until we hear that she's coming back. Hopefully next time it won't be a surprise.
Yeah, it'd just be nice to just know. They can't blindside us more than they've already blindsided us. There's no point in them doing that again.
They've already given us the surprise. Now give us the hype.
Okay, well, let's just hear from you guys on this. How do you think Ziva could be reincorporated? Do you think it could happen in season 19? Like, give us your suggestions as to how this could conceivably work. Is it a, they need Ziva's help? Is it a, let's all go to Ziva and Tony's wedding? Like,
yes!
That could be fun. Why not?
I would love to see something like that and just have the whole team together. Yes, 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 yes. 10 out of 10.
Or Ziva spinoff? Okay, all right, I'm done with that. Let us know in the comments if you did enjoy this video. Subscribe, give us a like. Support us further by checking those links to the store, our Patreon, and we'll see you here next time.